Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Shakespeare Spiderman reel. And I'm going to do this reel because I know a young man who might want it. I'm going to give him a choice. He's 10 years old, and his choice is going to be between this Spiderman reel and this Johnson Laker reel that I did a while back. And whichever one he would like to have on his rod is going to be the one that he gets. That's total choice is going to be totally his. But for today, since we've already done the Laker, we're going to go ahead and knock out this Spiderman reel by Shakespeare. Okay, we're going to take the cover off. We're going to unscrew the rotor off of it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take this clip off. Take the handle off. All right, now we're going to take this clip off right here. Now this is an interesting design. This side here has a pin designed to keep this side from coming on around, and this side over here you should be able then to push it off. So, but it just, for me, it just lifts it up a little bit and allows me to get up under it from the top side. All right. Okay, clip is off. Let's see what we got under here. There's our spool. Got a little corrosion under here we're going to have to clean up. Here is our drag mechanism. And it seems to be stuck. Let's see if we can get that to come up out of there. This end easily came up, but this end seems to want to stick. There we go. Take that out. Okay. Come around to this side. Ooh. Okay, well, I've seen nastier looking, but it's been a little while since I have. We're going to clean that up for sure. Let's go ahead. I don't really even want to touch that. We're going to pull that out of there. At least that's the plan. No, we're not. Okay. Oh, no. This is that Shakespeare design where you got to scrub this off and remove a C-clip and pull this out the front side. I think that's what it appears to be. All right. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning this up. I don't have to show you guys all that nastiness. All right, it should have that clean enough to be able to pop that spring out. That's what we're after right there. Look very carefully. We're going to zoom in even more. All right, see that spring? Well, that spring is down underneath that head. And what we got to do is get a hold of that little piece right there and get it to come up and over top of the head of this axle shaft, which is sometimes much easier said than done. And I don't know how many times I've stabbed my finger trying to do this like that. That was it was almost like I called for that, wasn't it? All right. Let's do that. Let's hold the spring and get it to rotate around. And let's see if we can get the end of the spring to end up over on the flat. Yeah, I had it for a second. Okay, and once you get it to start up, get everything out of the way, then you can start popping it around and get it to come off. There we go. It's got the spring off. Now you can pull the axle shaft out the front. Now normally you wouldn't need to go to this extreme. You could just kind of clean around all this, try to get some oil up under here, and it would be fine. But this one is so gummed up with old grease that I really feel that it needs to come off. There should be a washer on here, but it might be built into it. It appears to be a separate washer, but it might just be, nope, it's just built in that way. All right, so there's the wash, there's that. That's axle out. Now we're going to come over here and slide the anti-reverse or the main gear out, and it's snagging on the anti-reverse over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to hold the anti-reverse in place as we slide the main gear out. There we go. Now with that out, you can see how the anti-reverse works in here. Now it's set in, so we'll be able to set it right back in exactly that same way. Okay, this piece fits into there. It comes out, and this piece will fit right directly into that little hole right there. Okay, with that done, we make sure that this will turn freely up here, and you might think it's turning freely, but what you're doing is rotating the whole thing. What you want to make sure it's going to do is when you hold the screw that it will rotate, and it does, so you're good. Okay, we're going to screw that all the way in because that's minimum drag right there. Okay, I'm going to go off camera for a minute. We're going to clean up these parts, and when I come back, we'll see about putting them back together. All right, that was fun. Everything's nice and clean now, so we're ready to start putting everything back together. We're going to start off by putting in the main gear, but in order to put that in, we've got to get our anti-reverse reset. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little grease down here and a little bit right there, because that will help hold these pieces in place while it all gets set. All right. There's a little hole right over here that this one's going to go in, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that one goes into that hole, right, like that. Okay. Had to think about it a minute to remember, because it's been all of 10 minutes since I took it apart. All right, that one goes on there like so. With that in place, we're going to put the main gear back in. Now, I'm going to oil the main gear right here. And something I want to show you, there is a shim washer on here, but that shim washer is heavily worn. Okay, see how much gap there is in there? But it's still good enough to do its job, so we're going to leave it alone. So we're going to flip this over and onto the front side where the teeth are. We are going to grease Okay, now this isn't like a spinning reel where you've got a crosswind block, so you don't need a whole bunch of grease in the center. You only need it on the teeth. All right, we're going to now take this axle shaft, or main gear, and slide it back through the anti-reverse gear, or anti-reverse assembly. Slide it down, like so. And now it should do its job. And it does not do its job. So what have I got incorrect? That's got to be able to come up to there. That does not, that should not be dropping back in there. I can promise you. Okay, we're going to start off by reinstalling our anti-reverse pin. And there's a hole. If you look down there, see all the way down into that hole? Well, if you look on the very bottom of this anti-reverse, there's a pin, and that pin goes into that hole. If it doesn't go into that hole, your anti-reverse is not going to operate properly. So make sure it goes all the way down into that hole, like so. Okay, next piece. Yeah, there it is. Okay, and that one goes into that hole, right, like that. Okay. Okay, next piece that goes on, it's going to be this assembly right here. And let's go ahead and put us a little grease up here to help hold that in place. So we're going to set it in here. Goes in there just like that. Remember, I showed you the close-up of it. There it is. Now, you're going to want to put a coating of oil on your main gear shaft and make sure that this shim washer is on here and grease the teeth of the gear. Then you're going to set this back into here and slide it through that anti-reverse like so. And now you can see your anti-reverse working properly. If that little pin on the bottom of that doesn't go into that hole, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. All right. Next, we're going to come back here with our axle shaft, and we're going to oil the axle shaft and then slide it back in through the body like so. And actually, you could drop it back through the other way, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to drive it down like this because we've got to get your pinion gear on. So you're going to set your pinion gear in place. This is the part that wouldn't allow it to come through. So you got to set that in place, and then you've got to work that axle shaft. It's got a flat spot, and that flat spot has to meet up with the flat spot in the pinion gear. Once you've done that, then you're ready to slide your spring back down. And then you can start working your spring back down onto the axle shaft. Little by little, step by step. You can work it back down on there. Like so. Once that's done, it's locked in place. Like so. All right, and you've got that back in place. That basically completes the back side of this. So now okay, don't forget to come back and lubricate the pinion gear and this shaft, because the axle shaft has got to slide in and out of that pinion gear. So you need to make sure that that's lubricated. Side of this. So now we're moving back to the front side. Come back over here. And you got this screw hole right here. You want that to be straight across. Okay, with it straight across, we're ready to install your drag pressure plate. This little flat spot here goes into that slot, and the little one on the other end over here goes into this hole over here. Like so. Just like that. With that done, you're ready to put this one back on. This one slides down and it drops into this gap over here. All right. And on top of that, it's going to go this drag washer. So far, pretty easy. Now, if you wish, you can put a little oil on your drag washer, but it's not absolutely necessary. It does sometimes help it slide a little better, but it's not necessary. Okay, slide your spool back on. There's your clicker. That click, if you want to see what it is, it's this spring right here, riding in these little slots right here. As you rotate that, and that's the sound that you get when your drag is going out. Okay, let's get this line over here out of the way. Next, it's going to go on is this clip. Clip's going to slide down. Let's see if we're down far enough. Okay. Let's have a look at this before I do that. Okay. If you look, most of these, when you go to put them together, there's a groove cut all the way around. In this case, there is not. Let me put my finger behind it so you can see. Okay, that groove is a groove on each side. And that's what that clip has got to fit into, is that clip on each side. So you have to have it coming in from exactly the right direction. So it either has to come from directly overhead or directly underneath, one or the other. Okay, drop your spool back down, push down on it. Make sure you're down all the way. Then come back, set your clip in place. And let's go ahead and rotate this around. There we go. So that post is going to hit on that leg when it comes around. Okay. Well, I'm having trouble getting that to go down far enough. I may not have that all the way in. There it goes. It's in. Okay. Back with my favorite screwdriver. Working to clip that in. Okay, so remember what I was telling you about that clip? Or that pin? Let's go ahead and bring that pin around over this way. So it's not in the way. There we go. And let's snap that the rest of the way. It should fit all the way in where there's no gap. Okay. There. Okay. Now as we adjust the drag up, let's see which way we got to go. This way. As we increase the drag, it should tighten that up. So you got to go the right direction. There we go. Okay. The other way loosens the drag. At least this way. There we go. To where you got no drag. Okay. I just got a little carried away tightening it. Okay. With that done, let's go ahead and put, well, let's go ahead and lubricate this first. Let's put a little bit of grease on the shaft right here, a little bit right here, and a little right here. That pin has got to be able to pop in and out. So we're going to tighten that down, screw it in. In order to do this, you're going to have to hold the button in, or the axle shaft. Slide it on, rotate it. Okay, here we go. Slip this back into the case. Let's put just a dab of grease right here on the very end of the button. Oh, I'll let the button fall out. If your button falls out, look at it. You can see that it has these two arms right here, and they go into these two slots up here. Slip those in. Right there, like so. Push the button down in there. We've already lubricated it. Slide this back into the case. Let's put the cover on the case. Hang on, let's see if we can get the line out of it first. Didn't even want to reach the end. Okay. Line on. Let's screw that back down. let's put the handle on. Tighten the nut down. Okay, when you push the button, you should be able to pull the line out. When we wind it, it should wind the line back in, which it does. We got the drag set too tight. There you go. Now we'll pull the rest of this line back off of here and put new line on it. But there you have the Shakespeare Spiderman reel. I don't know how old that reel is, but my guess is it's probably pushing 30. It's been around a while. And I don't know which reel Robert's son will choose, but hey, he can choose either one. I'm happy and content either way. I hope you liked this video. If you did, I hope you hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please hit the dislike button and tell me what it is you didn't like about the video. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. If you would like to be notified when new videos are posted, hit the notification button. For now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.